Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over the AL Central Face of the Franchise cards that you unlock in the Team Affinities. Within the AL Central, we're going to rank the cards 1 through 5. The factors that go into this ranking of ranking the 1 through 5 within the AL Central are their attributes, their position flexibility. Something to note about this list, it's only a comparison to the players that are in their division, not all of the face of the franchise cards or other cards that are not in the team affinity at all, as well as if they have a glitchy swing or a windup where it's hard to read the ball, such as somebody that might be a submariner or has a weird release, such as some people think that like maybe Blake Snell's release point's a little glitchy because it can get kind of caught in the batter's eye. That would be an example of a glitchy windup. That being said, the 5 teams that are going to be compared that are in the AL Central, for anybody that might not be the biggest baseball fan, is the Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals, Detroit Tigers, Cleveland Indians, and Chicago White Sox. At number 5, we have Matthew Boyd. He's a starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He has 5 pitches. The pitches are four-seam fastball, slider, circle change, curveball, and sinker. As you can see, his velocity is not very fast. He tops out about 95 miles an hour at max. I know it says 93 there, but you can get about 2 or 3 higher, depending on what type of pitch interface you have to throw, where you can make the ball go a little bit faster than what their speed shows on their card. He does have decent pitch speed differential, and he has relatively decent break with 83 break rating. However, being this a face of franchise card and only an 86 overall diamond, his numbers are nothing that are spectacular. As you can see, his per nines aren't very great. His home run per nines at 57. That's pretty low for a diamond. And his stamina is only 85. I just don't think this card's really that good for the amount of effort and time you have to put in to get in this face of the franchise card. That being said, let's go with his quirks. His quirks are untouchable. He only has one, which excels at allowing him to strike hitters out. Once again, I just don't think this card's really that great. He's a left-handed pitcher, so maybe if you need a lefty in your starting rotation, he might be worth picking up as somebody if you don't have a lot of diamonds or you're no money spent. He could be worth it, but for the most part, I wouldn't really waste your time trying to get this team affinity, other than just to get up to the amount of points in case the Detroit Tigers later on in the year drop something really good through these team affinities. That being said, Matthew Boyd comes in at number 5. At number 4, we have Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield can play pretty much every position on the diamond, minus shortstop. He can play first base, third base, left field, center field, right field as his secondaries. His primary is second base. Right-handed bat, obviously, because he's second baseman, he's right-handed throwing. He has diamond hitting and silver fielding. As you can see, for his hitting splits, he has 95 contact versus righties, 89 contact versus lefties, 52 power versus righties, 69 power versus lefties. So he's actually going to hit the lefty a little bit harder, and the righty is going to have a little bit better contact. His vision's 88, which is actually a pretty nice vision rating. His fielding is 81. He does not have a great arm, so I would actually only recommend him playing him at second base. I think there's... at first base, I don't know if I would play him there. I would just maybe play him at second base just because of his arm strength. Has pretty decent accuracy and good range for a second baseman at 78 speed and 77 reaction. So he should get to a lot of ground balls at second base. Not a bad second baseman. The biggest reason for me that he's coming in 4 on this list is he just isn't a great hitter. I don't think he has that great of a glitchy type of swing for a player either. I think there's just better options within the division. That's why he gets the 4th ranking here. That being said, let's go look at his quirks. His quirks are hitting machine, 20/20 vision, thief, pressure cooker, and unbreakable. He does have good hitting quirks for somebody that is not a power hitter with hitting machine and 20/20 vision. So that might help him some. That just being said, I do not think that this card plays better than the other options you can get within this division. Even though he can play all over the diamond, I just feel like you can as you'll see in the next couple cards, I think there's better hitter options, and I think there's a better fielding option for most of the positions that Merrifield can play. That being said, Whit Merrifield's in at number 4. So at number 3, we have the Minnesota Twins center fielder, Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton is a center fielder. Primary, his secondary position is going to be left or right field. He has silver hitting and diamond fielding. This card is not the best card for hitting. As you can see, contact versus righty 64, contact versus lefty 72, and his power 65 and 67 respectively, righty versus and lefty. He doesn't have the best hitting stats, although I do think this card has a pretty glitchy swing, especially if you square the ball up. I understand in 60 vision it might be a little bit harder at higher difficulties to square the ball up, but I do feel like even whenever I have his card that's not his face of the franchise card, if I square the ball up, he seems to get a lot of base hits for me. This card seems to be doing the same thing whenever I get this card. And obviously, he's a magnificent fielder. 94 fielding, 97 arm strength, 99 speed with 95 reaction. So in center field, he's going to be a ball hawk. He's pretty much going to be the Ed Reed of the outfield. If any of you guys are football fans or Madden fans, obviously Ed Reed was one of the best free safeties ever playing in the NFL. Had a lot of interceptions, a lot of big interceptions. They always called him the center fielder for a safety in the NFL. I think this guy will be the Ed Reed of your outfield if you have this card. So defensively, I just feel like really good card for the outfield. I also feel like you could put him in late for a defensive sub. Maybe you have a slower outfielder out there like a J.D. Martinez or somebody for a power bat earlier in the game, and you want to put a defensive sub because you're up a few runs. Byron Buxton would be your guy. Let's look at his quirks real quick. His quirks are soft hands, quick reflexes, cannon, speedster, thief, buntmaster. As you can see, I rattle those off pretty quickly. However, most of them deal with defense and stealing bases, which is pretty much, as you looked at his attributes, or what his attributes show, is he's going to play amazing defense, and he's going to steal you bases, and he even is actually a good bunter. We don't really go over the bunting stat too much because people don't really use sacrifice bunting that much or anything like that. However, we can go look at the bunting stat real quick. At 83, that's actually a really good bunting stat for this game. Anything over 75 bunting, I think you can place the bunt pretty much where you want. If you get a fastball or something up in the zone that's like a hanging pitch, you won't like pop it up too much. With that being said, Byron Buxton comes in at number 3 on this list. I just think this is a pretty good card, and he can definitely be a very good bench player for you no matter what your squad's currently looking like. Or he could be a starter if you don't have a great center fielder. At number 2, we have Yoan Moncada. This guy's primary is going to be third base, plays for the Chicago White Sox. He's actually one of the up-and-coming stars of Major League Baseball. I expect to see great things from him if they do play this year. That being said, he can also play first base and second base. He's diamond hitting, gold defense. He's a switch hitter, throws right-handed. If you look at his attributes for hitting, it is 95 contact versus righties, 86 contact versus lefties, 85 power versus righties, 61 power versus lefties with 57 vision. Now, his vision stat is pretty low, but he does have high contact, so I do not think his PCI will be super tiny for higher difficulty, such as Hall of Fame or Legend. If you look at his fielding, it is gold. He has 75 fielding, 86 arm, so he's a pretty strong arm. 71 reactions, not the best reaction for a third baseman. However, I think it'll get the job done on most plays. At 66 speed, he could still kind of be an option at second base. He's still going to have a decent amount of range. Not as good a range as, let's say, like Whit Merrifield's had previously that we had talked about how he would have very good range because he's a pretty fast player with good reaction. However, I think this Yoan Moncada card is just a much better card. He also has a very glitchy swing, especially when he's batting against right-handed pitching. He absolutely mashes the ball, and he has a lot of success for me against left-handed pitching as well, especially when I got to use him in some showdowns. I really like this card. I like the way he swings. I like the way he drives the ball. I think his swing generates a lot of fly balls and line drives compared to like low line drives and ground balls, just based on how his swing is. So that's one of the factors that I use when making this list is a glitchier swing, and I think he has one of the glitchier swings in the game. That being said, let's look at his quirks. His quirks are hitting machine, which means he excels at getting base hits. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of quirks, which is kind of unfortunate. However, I feel like that doesn't really take away from this card. And this is why he comes into number 2, guys. He's just, I think, really good card. And I believe that he can be used, whether you want to use him at third base or second base. I just think this is a good card to pick up, even if he ends up being a bench bat for certain matchups, depending on how pitchers throw. I would really think about trying to pick this card up. So as you guys have probably guessed, since this is the last card on the list and there's only 5 cards, I mean, Carlos Santana, he's number 1. The reason that he's number 1 is, first off, he's a first baseman and his hitting stats are ridiculous. He has 70 contact versus righties, 83 power. Versus lefties, he has 96 contact, 83 power. So 83 power split on both sides with 86 vision. So he's a very good hitter. However, if you look at his secondary positions, not only does he play first base, he can also play third base, like Yoan Moncada, even though that was Moncada's primary. And Santana can play catcher. The fact that Santana can play catcher makes him invaluable, I think, which makes him number 1 in my book. The fact that he can play third base and catcher just makes him invaluable. I'm not sure what his blocking rating is for catchers. I know I mentioned that before in some other videos, that the blocking rating of the catcher is actually very important this year. As you can see, he only has bronze defense. However, his blocking might not be that bad. I don't even know how to look it up on these cards. I wish maybe SDS can give an answer to that. Maybe I'll tag him in Twitter and ask for this card in particular how you find blocking if catching someone's secondary position. Because even like Craig Biggio, the Signature Series Craig Biggio has catcher as a secondary. So that might be good information just for the community to know. That being said, he still has 76 fielding and 74 reaction, so if he did have to play third base, he still has good reaction time. He doesn't have the best arm. However, what he lacks in his defense, he makes up in hitting. As you can see, his hitting is ridiculous. And he's a switch hitter, so you're always going to get a righty versus lefty matchup or a lefty versus righty matchup. You're never going to get a matchup where you have to go righty-righty or lefty-lefty. And that's big in this game. I think switch hitters are a huge, huge, huge part of making a diverse lineup that has a lot of bats, especially if you're a good right versus lefty or lefty versus righty hitter. And just this card absolutely mashes. He's a beautiful swing in this game. That being said, let's look at his quirks. His quirks are Bomber, 20/20 Vision, Walker. Like I said, that Walker is pretty important for check swings, especially if someone catches you up with a good slider or changeup, and you have some nimble fingers. You just get a little tap, you get a check swing rather than a full swing. Can save you on some strikeouts, can save you on some crappy foul balls or some of those check swing pop-ups or whatever. So I just think that this card, with his quirks and everything he offers as a hitter, the fact he can play catcher, just makes him number 1 on this list and the best face of the franchise card to pick up for the AL Central. That being said, guys, I really appreciate everyone watching these videos. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Hit that red button. Give this video a thumbs up so I know that I'm doing a good job. Leave any comments for content you might want to see. Also, if you guys are enjoying watching me, you can always watch me on twitch.tv/HopefulChewbacca. I stream Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I will also probably be streaming. However, I do not have a set schedule for those days due to extracurricular activities out of the video game, family, friends, my dogs, sports, or anything that I'm playing. So if you want to know when I'm going to go live on those days, follow me on Twitter at Hopeful1137. That's also my PSN. I will repeat that one more time, Hopeful1137. If you have any questions or concerns about any of the videos or any of the content I'm doing, you can always hit me up on Twitter or on PSN. I'll add you on PSN. I'll respond to your messages. I don't have any of that stuff blocked. That being said, I hope that you guys are enjoying the content. Hit me up with a subscription, like I said, or go follow me on Twitch so you can keep enjoying some of this content. You guys have a great day and be safe.